It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Do Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday we were shaking the Monday morning blues with the Do Time crew, and we talked about the Blue Whale Challenge. Now, this is a social media phenomenon, as they call it, and it encourages young people to do a series of tasks for 50 days, and then at the 50th day, you commit suicide. Yes. And upon our entry into this PSA yesterday, someone in the chat room wrote that it was old and, 15 years old and, I guess pretty much outdated. Well, the Do Time crew found that no, it is active and alive. It may have made its way onto social media maybe 15 years ago, but nothing about this has gone away. People are still doing this stuff. And what they say is you start off the challenge with watching like a horror movie and waking up at 4:30 in the morning. And then as the days go on, things get increasingly worse. And there are more self-inflicted injuries. And then in that final moment, you kill yourself. Well, you don't literally have to watch a horror movie, get up at 4:30 in the morning, do self-inflicted things to hurt yourself. And then at the final day, you kill yourself because you're already doing that. Yes. We pulled up a story yesterday. We talked about a story yesterday of a 13-year-old girl just simply walking home with her sister and two 16-year-old boys and one 15-year-old boy. They were behind some kind of bush or something, and they fired a gun at the little girl and killed her. Well, what do you think happened metaphorically? They got up that morning doing regular things, and then as the day went on, they did some other things as planning and stuff like that. And then at the final call, not only did they end her life, they committed suicide, because now they are facing prison time, possibly for the rest of their lives, because they are definitely at 16 years old going to be tried as adults. You don't literally have to jump off a bridge to commit suicide. There are many people who are living as walking dead right now, walking around thinking everything is fine, and they are literally lifeless. Yes, this is what they're doing. This is how they're living. And, the more and more we talked yesterday, the more and more we got down to some real hard conversation. Pastor KL says, you know what, when you were a kid and you lived in his house, you didn't have no feelings. I don't care what you said. I don't care what you expressed. I don't care what you thought. You had no feelings until the time it was that you left his home. Well, I asked the Do Time crew, did they agree? And they said no. You've got to give these kids these days a chance to express themselves. And the biggest thing is be a parent. You cannot pick and choose when you want to be a parent. You can't pick and choose if you're going to give them rules. And then when you see that a ruleless household does not work and everybody is literally committing suicide, and then you decide you want to jump on board and, get rules implemented. It's not going to work like that. You have to start this stuff from scratch. It is not a world where we can live ruleless. We talked about the what do you call it? The Chicago teachers union, who, they felt like there should be no jail time for the 7 children who were going to be charged, who are being charged with attacking the mother and her 2 children. They said, no, give them a taste of real life. Well, we can't figure out what real life is without being imprisoned when you commit a crime. That is part of real life. That's what we've always been shown, and that's what we've always been taught, that there are rules, that when you live and break laws and commit crimes, you are going to go to prison. What other options do you have? So, part of the Due Time crew said no. If they should commit these crimes, you should not necessarily go to jail. You should possibly go to, Brother Al said, like a county jail, and just get a taste of what it should be. Lady Tamika said no, she would put them in county jail. She wouldn't put them in prison, but she would make them clean the graffiti off the walls that go up on a regular basis. So everybody has their different feeling of how we need to handle these children. Well, we're going to continue that conversation today with some video. And when you hear some of these crimes, when you see some of these crimes that these children are committing, I don't know if you're going to stick to that feeling, or are you going to shift and think of some new stuff that needs to be invented for some of these kids that are committing crimes? Where are these crimes in their brains coming from? You got to ask that question. Well, one of the biggest answers is we are born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Yeah, we're born sinful. And you are definitely at the seat of the enemy when you get here. And if you have parents that do not introduce you to God, then your biggest possibility is that you may end up on the wrong side of the fence. So I don't know. You have to make that decision. Yesterday's question or statement was, these children are lawless. They are lawless. And somebody has got to wield that rod. That somebody is you. What are you going to do? How are you handling the situation? How have you handled the situation? We've talked about that, how we were brought up, and do we raise children the way we were brought up? How does that work now if we were to take those same rules and regulations and roll them over into this generation? Will it be received well? Will they war against it? Will they go along with the flow? Boy, it just goes on and on and on. So I don't know. All I know is God has every answer. And there are no 2 situations alike. So we're going to have to seek God for what He wants us to do. That's how we spent our Monday morning. Well, today is Let's Talk About It Tuesday, Church Folk Day. Yes, and yes. We are going to get to talking. We've got some stuff to talk about. I don't know where we're going to go, but like I said, part of yesterday's conversation will be continued today. I stumbled across some videos that make you go, for real. All righty. Well, go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, Don't go anywhere because we will be right back.
Acronym that we're going to use to build habits that actually stick. STICK. Write it down. Save it. Say it out loud. S, start small. Big change doesn't require big steps, just consistent ones. Meditate on Zechariah 4:10. T, tie it to your identity. Habits grow when you stop trying to force the action and start becoming the person who naturally lives it. Meditate on Proverbs 23:7. I, insert it into your routine. Anchor your new habit to something you already do every day. Meditate on 1 Corinthians 14:40. Choose consistency over intensity. Stop aiming for perfect days. Aim for consistent days. Meditate on Galatians 6:9. K, keep going even when motivation fades. Meditate on Hebrews 12:11.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. And it is Let's Talk About It Tuesday, Church Folk Day. We're into our last Tuesday of the year. Are you ready? Have you completed this calendar year the way you have wanted to? We do not celebrate, Happy New Year and all of that kind of stuff, but it's a nice benchmark, nice way to gauge, what you want to do. Sometimes people use their birthdays, sometimes people use a calendar year. What have you accomplished that you really, I'm not talking about no New Year's resolutions, because that don't work. Half the time, people don't even keep to that stuff. But what are you going to do differently today? Are we going to start living differently today? We may not make it until the first of the year. So think about it. Well, I want to say good morning to all of those who are out there in Due Time World. So make sure if you're in the room, check in and let Pastor Steph know that you're in the room. Other than that, I don't know you're here. Let's say good morning to our girl, Ketty. Good morning, Ketty. Thank you so much for joining us. We're saying good morning to our boy, Serge. Hey, Serge. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We've got a hello from Jeremiah. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, checking in. We've got a check-in from an Elizabeth. Thank you so much for checking in and saying good morning to us. And we've got a check-in from our girl, Vivian. Good morning, Vivian. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. If Miss Grace is out there, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We got to say good morning to the ladies that hold it down for us and make sure we're up and running each and every day. Let's say good morning to our girl, Shantice. Hey, Shantice. Let's say good morning to our girl, Anika. Hey, Anika. Thank you so much. We've got a check-in from Darrell. I hope that's Darrell. Good morning, Darrell. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Checking in. All right. So, you know how we do our trivia every Tuesday morning. And I thought this was a good one to do as we are in our last Tuesday of the year. Well, people are listing jobs that are literal marriage killers, which means that once you take that job, you put your marriage on the back burner intentionally or just by nature of you doing this job. So let's see what is on this list. All right. I've been married for 40 years to a family practitioner. He leaves the house before 7 a.m. and most nights he doesn't get home until 10 or 11. He does hospital and nursing home visits and in his office. He sees patients all day long and makes phone calls for hours all night. He goes over lab work for hours. He's very on top of all his patients. He always has been. I am less on his list. I don't even think I make the list. My children are grown. They are married with children, so I'm not taking care of them anymore. I do watch my grandchildren all the time and enjoy it so much, but I have always been left alone. Oh, wow. She may have a great home life as far as like materialistic things, but that's kind of hard to hear, you know. And you start, sometimes people wrap themselves around the children, and then when they become empty nesters, they don't know what to do with themselves. Cops. My brother was one and was terrible to his partners. He left the force because he wanted to have a stable relationship. I've dated 2 cops. One was long-term and we lived together. Their hours and days off are inconsistent and wild. They bring the work home and they sleep with anyone and anything. Wow. That man made me miserable. Boy, I didn't think that was coming up. Ooh, okay. Veterinarians, long hours and emotionally exhausting job. We're talking about those jobs that are marriage killers. If you know a job that is a marriage killer, make sure you let us know and tell us why. All right, make sure you put it in the chat room. Some people deal with rejection all day and can't handle it at home. Unless you're the spouse of the year and super nurturing, your salesperson will most likely cheat on you. What does that have to do with being rejected? Oh my gosh. Wow. Sales, specifically pharmaceutical sales. You go away for training and meetings and everyone is together in a hotel for 5 days or longer. There is a lot of drinking and partying. Married people acting like they're on spring break. I've seen and heard some very crazy things. Wow. Okay. Mathematician. That's a marriage, a relationship killer? Wow. Extremely elitist. I've seen them call each other stupid just because they prefer a different coding language. Impossible to argue with and have really big egos. Wow. Firefighters and police officers for different reasons. Firefighters because of the shift work and trauma. Police officers because of their above the law mentality. All first responders deal with trauma and bad people that they don't want to bring home. And when spouses push to be more informed, it ends up making things worse for everyone. I've been divorced 3 times and the rate is more than 50% ending in divorce. Wow. Darrell says MTA is one of those jobs that is a relationship killer. Why? Why is it a relationship killer, Darrell? If you sweep the trains, it's a relationship killer? Oh my goodness. Doctors, especially emergency medicine doctors, lots of cheating. One of them cheated on me with both nurses at different hospitals and ERs, and also with sex workers from his medical mission trips. He gaslit me for months that my STI symptoms were just from stress. I'm done. Wow, y'all. Wow. EMTs and paramedics. My husband and I both worked on ambulances and it really messed us up. The trauma, long hours, crappy food, working holidays, and no quality time. It sucks the life out of you. Wow. High school teachers. Wow. I used to be one, and my ex is one. They work long hours for no money, and they are all sleeping with each other. We got to ask Brother Al. We got to ask Brother Al about that. I know of numerous affairs going on in the high school where I work, and my ex cheated on me with numerous co-workers. It's like they all still belong in high school and are stuck there. Wow, I wouldn't think that would go on in the high school. Don't the kids keep you busy? Wow. Wow. Railroad workers, engineers, and conductors. You never know their schedules and can never make plans. They sleep all the time or never sleep enough. Additionally, they no longer receive the respect and pay they once did. These people work long hours on trains, hauling hazardous material, car parts, Amazon orders, etc. And they honestly get mistreated by the companies they work for and the communities complaining about trains. Wow. The weather service? What kind of mess is that? Well, can you do anything? Because they just about mention everything. They sometimes have to work all of the shifts, so they rotate. It's hard to coordinate schedules, dates, and times with the family when you don't know what the next schedule is going to look like. Sometimes it can change 2 weeks before the schedule comes out, even if you had plans scheduled out. So you have to rearrange everything. It's not for everyone. Wow. When I worked for a TV station, we had a mobile division. These are the people who televise events at large venues that don't have built-in broadcast facilities, mostly sporting venues. The people who drive the trucks and take care of the equipment in the trucks spend the great majority of their time away from home. Even on holidays, when big parades or important games are televised, they're there getting it to your television. It can be exciting and lucrative work, but it's not for someone with a spouse. All right. My wife and I both worked in repair for a telecommunications company. We were always on call or working nights, weekends, Sundays, or holidays. We were like two ships passing in the night. We never saw each other or were sleeping due to odd hours. Wow. Package delivery driver. Now, you're not going to tell me that the Amazon worker and the mailman have relationship problems. Come on, y'all. They have late hours and miss Christmas Eves and kiddo sport events. Knees, hips are shot. I'm sorry. I ain't heard enough. No, I don't know about that. The restaurant business, Lord have mercy. Particularly as a chef, it's like the medical field, the fire department, and the police department, working long hours, and you can kiss all the family holidays. Bye-bye. How has no one said chef or restaurateur gone every night will miss 95% of important events, high stress, and thin margins? It's not a winning formula. Plus, to be good at it, you have to be a little neurotic, which can make living with a partner challenging. All right. Chefs, third time in a row. I'm beginning to believe that chefs make horrible relationship people. Terrible hours, constant stress about restaurant closings, bad employees who actively flirt with married chefs and don't care, hateful criticisms of their passion, which messes with their heads and causes depression and or addictive issues. Lord have mercy. Sharpies in the wash, and if they are really good, you'll never see them. And if they're really, really good, like cook for celebrities good, they'll get invited to a bunch of cool stuff. And guess who has to stay home to take care of the kids? It's very, very lonely. Wow. I'm learning a whole lot about these jobs. Restaurant manager. Wow. They work every holiday. If someone runs out, they take that person's job. They rarely have a chance to raise a family as they are always at work. If the restaurant is successful, it's likely to be acquired by another company that alters everything that made the restaurant successful in the first place. Very stressful. Wow. Let's see what else. Somebody said chauffeurs. When the boss calls, you have to go. Sometimes they go long distance. Okay. Wow. Okay, what else? Truck drivers. Long hours, gone a lot, and often have poor eating habits. Now that I believe. I believe that for like those truck drivers, like tractor trucks, yeah, they gotta have hard relationships because they're hardly home. Wow. No. I worked as a movie theater projectionist earlier in my career. I was the guy in the booth running the film. I was never home, forget weekends. The worst part was working at the drive-in. We couldn't start playing movies until 9 p.m. in the summer. Got done at about 1 a.m. Really? I ain't buying that. No, I'm sorry. Pilots for sure. I should know I was a flight attendant and married and divorced a pilot. Typically, they are cheap, dress like garbage, and are habitual cheaters. They also often suffer from a God complex as they hold lives in their hands. The lost wedding ring and other women's panties were just some of the post-layover evidence. Wow. I believe that though. I believe that for the pilots. I believe it. All righty. And lastly, pastor. They are always available for the church family, leaving to fix problems for others, or busy working on messages. A lot of absent time physically and mentally. And I gotta say, yeah, a lot of people have complained about pastors being separate from their families because the 24 hours a day surgical responsibilities. Yeah. I believe it. I knew something was bad when my congregation was at its largest, and I had the phones constantly rang. And one day my youngest daughter came like for the 5th time. She kept peeking in the room to see if I was still on the phone, and she finally said, "You still on the phone?" And I was on the phone for like 5 hours with one person, and that one person don't even go to church no more. Yes, drain. And after that day, when my daughter said, "You still on the phone?" I was done. I was like, nah, this can't be the no. And then you end up not even staying in church. So I done messed up my whole family dynamic, and you ain't in church. Go away. All righty. Let's see what we're talking about in the news today. Let's see what's going on here. So I'm going to come back to that one because I want to ask the Due Time crew their thoughts. All righty. Well, being that we have a short week today and we won't be here Friday, I came across some celebrity news, and I thought it was really interesting. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to push it forward to Let's Talk About It Tuesday. Now, check this out. Eddie Levert Sr. Now, if you in the R&B world, you know Eddie Levert is from the OJs. Him, Walter Williams, and I think his name is, I can't think of his first name, Nolan Grant, the youngest guy on the far, your right, your left, the one on that. Because the other one is Walter Williams, Eddie Levert is in the middle, and I think his name is his name Eddie Nolan Grant Jr., and something like that. Well, check this out. This is why I was like, whoa, I gotta talk about this one. So those who are on their social media, I think it's their Facebook page, the OJ's Facebook page. Yes, the OJs have a Facebook page. Well, yes, and the OJs are like 83, 81. Eddie Levert is 83. Walter Williams is 81, and Eddie Nolan, the last one, he's got to be like 60-ish, because he was the friend of Gerald Levert, and Gerald Levert would have been 60 in 2026, so he's got to be around somewhere in that age. Well, they have a what do you call it? They have a social media page on Facebook, and they found a post by Eddie Levert that is telling Trump, I don't care what the posts say, we don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that the OJs are performing at the White House. If it's true, know that I won't be there, and I have nothing to do with it. All money isn't good money, especially orange money. You all be blessed. Well, they did some research. They found out that the post was not that they were going to be at the White House in Washington, D.C., but there's a White House in Florida called the Mar-a-Lago. And he said, he put another post out that said, I don't care whether it's the White House in D.C. or the one in Florida, I still won't be there. So then there was another post from Eddie Levert, says, I haven't said anything bad about President Trump, but I have the right to refuse to perform at any function that's not paying me what I require. And he says, if you don't stand for something, you'll go for anything. And before he ended, he says, it's not just about the money, it's about what I stand for. Now, here's something that I had no idea about, which is why I'm talking about this, but that was just a prelude. I didn't realize that the song For the Love of Money that was made popular back in 1974 by the OJs, everybody knows For the Love of Money, that was the theme song for Trump's The Apprentice TV show. How do you know that? Well, they were paid for that. And Eddie Levert says he's not a bad paymaster, but they then had an issue with him when he won the 2016 election. They asked him to stop using Love Train. People all over the world, join hands on the Love Train. Yes, they asked him to stop using their song for his theme song when he won. So, I'm like, somebody black is working on Trump's payroll, because where is he pulling up these black songs, especially the OJs? So you've got a post, a statement that says, I wish him the best, but I think he's the man to run our country. So when he started using Love Train, I called him up and told them, listen, man, I don't believe in what you're doing. I'm not with you. I don't want you to use my voice. I'm not condoning what you're doing. That's what Eddie Levert said he told Trump back when he won, and they were using the OJ song. Now, Walter Williams says back in 2019, he said that Trump wanted to replace Love Train with Trump's Train. And he told him, absolutely not. You will not, and I mean not, ever replace our song with your words. We're not having that. Yo, what stuff was going on between the OJs and Donald Trump? Man, I must have been asleep. Yeah, he says he's talked about sending a cease and desist letter to prevent the unauthorized use of the OJ's music. Yeah. Wow. So then Eddie Levert says he won't be riding the Love Train or anything else. We approve this message. Wow. So we will not be able to say that the OJs like Nelly and Snoop and all of those will be joining the Trump camp. Yes, in any shape, form, or fashion. Thumbs up to the OJs, one of my favorite groups of all times. Yes. So, wait, did you know that Walter Williams has MS and has had MS for decades? Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but multiple sclerosis is an extremely debilitating disease that really attacks the body. And many people have ended up in wheelchairs and not being able to walk properly. Have you watched the OJs dance? Now, I've seen the OJs about 10 times live. Man, they are one of the most synchronized set of dancers ever. And to think that Walter Williams has been keeping up with all those dance steps. And let me tell you, I've seen them live about 10 times. He does not miss a step. Okay? So I don't know if money has been able to pay for the best of the best of the best care, medication, whatever. But I'm telling you, when I read that he has MS, I was blown away. And you would never know it. I just thought I'd throw that in. We got to check it from our girl, Tamika. Hey, girl. Thank you for joining us this morning. Pastor KL says, what it do, crew? Get up on in here. That's what we do. We do on the screen side, not on the chat room side, my brother. Tamika says, boy, that Trump loves himself so much that he wants to rename everything. Yes, and the OJs are not having it. Whoa. Well, let me tell you something else that where people are not having it. There is a lawsuit that is out. And when I tell you somebody is paying heavily, they are paying heavily. So out in Florida, there is a security guard who was killed during a robbery. And when the family sued, they were awarded $779 million. Now, let me give you the long and the short of this story. What happened was back in November of 2023, this security guard was shot to death, Louis Butler. during an armed robbery at an internet cafe while attempting to protect a cashier. Alrighty. Now, she was wounded, but she survived the attack. Now, the guy who's accused of killing Mr. Butler is 21-year-old Cavante Washington, and he's been convicted of several charges. First-degree murder with a firearm, attempted first-degree felony murder with a firearm, attempted armed robbery with a firearm. Yeah, just he's been given life without parole. Now, the family filed a lawsuit against the company because when the business was robbed at gunpoint 3 weeks earlier. Yes. And they found out that the gun was stolen from the business. And that same gun was later used in the robbery, which that Cavante used to kill Mr. Butler. They also said that the robbery that was done the first go round was never reported to the police. And they knew about the illegal gambling that took place at the cafe. And then it made sense because I was trying to figure out, well, why would they rob an internet cafe? The cash register. How much money would the cash register hold at an internet cafe? Now, I know Cavante sounds like somebody who just came from underneath the rock and he all ghetto. I get it. But I mean, come on, you gotta have a little more sense. Well, that's why, because they were running an illegal gambling operation in this place. And because they didn't involve the police, see, that's why they didn't involve the police. Because had they involved the police, then they would have had to reveal that this internet cafe was also doubling as an illegal gamble spot. That's why they didn't tell. But clearly, Cavante knew that, and that's what he was going for. So because of that, they feel that it jeopardized Mr. Butler's life, and that's why he ended up being murdered. Let me give you the breakdown. They say he was awarded more than $12,000 for medical and funeral expenses. Of course, because it costs more than $12,000 to bury somebody. $4 million in damages for the loss of Louis Butler's support and services, including income and routine tasks. $225 million for the loss of his companionship and protection. And finally, $550 million for the pain and suffering that his widow will endure because of her husband's death. So that's how you got the $700 and almost $80 million payment that this company is supposed to pay out. Now, I guess they really gonna be running an illegal gambling operation. So talk about not having it. Eddie Levert and Walter Williams are not the only two who ain't having it. So is this family. They are not having it. And smash them. Yes, because you could have possibly prevented that death. You didn't report the robbery. They were robbed at gunpoint, and as well as the gun was removed from the premises. Now, probably the gun was something that wasn't registered, because why wouldn't you tell that, right? Because if that company business had a legal gun, let's say for protection purposes, when it was stolen, you would definitely want to report it, because now if anything should happen somewhere else, you want them to know that that gun was removed from the premises. So probably that gun was not supposed to be there in the first place. Let's see what else we talking about over here on Let's Talk About It Tuesday. Come on. Let's see. Alrighty. Here's what I wanted to talk about. I said I was coming back to this. Now, here we have a special day that the people, the employers at McDonald's, let me see where this McDonald's is taking place, where they are held, I can't tell right now. But they allowed their employees to have a pajama day. Yes, and yes. Pajama day at McDonald's. Now, we all know that when you go to school, whether it's elementary, high school, you have this junior high school, they have, this pajama day that they allow the kids like senior week and things like that, like fun stuff. Well, they thought that it would be fun to allow their employees a dress down day. And their dress down day would be pajama day. Now, woo, did they set that place on fire? Why? Because some people said, what in the world is this? It's only McDonald's. It's not like they got to come in here with a shirt and tie every day. They got to dress up. What do they wear? Like khakis or black bottoms and a McDonald's t-shirt with a logo, with a cap, visor, or something on their head. What do they need a dress down day for, a pajama day? Why would they possibly need to come in here like a group of 10-year-olds and celebrate Spirit Week with their friends? Why? There are adults getting paid to work. So why do we owe them a dress down day? You have some that say it's McDonald's, for God's sake. It's not like it's a 5-star restaurant. I genuinely don't even care. If it brought them joy, I'm into it. Let's just make sure that they give me my food. My food is clean. They don't overcharge me. They don't mess up my money, giving me back my change. If that's the case, it's only one day. Have at it. What do you think? I'm curious. What do you think? Do you think that they should be allowed to dress down one day, let's say one day a year? They do this annually. One day a year, and it's no big deal because it's only McDonald's. And what do we care what they wear? Even if it's pajamas, what is the big deal? Or do you feel, hey, listen, this is still a workplace. What they do in school is what they do in school. I'm expecting for them to be dressed in a uniform, not look like they just rolled out of bed. Now, when you look like you didn't came to work, to school in pajamas, that's one thing. But when you come to work in pajamas, that's another thing. So tell me in the chat room what you think. Let me pull up my girl Shantice so we can get to talking about these things. Let's talk about it Tuesday. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Pastor Steph?
I am well, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Let's start with Eddie Levert, Walter Williams. What is his name? I'm going to find out this other boy's name, this Nolan Jr. I want to find out his name so I can call out his name the same way. Eric. I know it was an E. Eric Nolan Grant. Eric Nolan Grant Jr. They comprise the OJs. They're like, yo, we're not performing for Trump. We don't want him singing playing our love for the love of money song. We don't want them playing the Love Train song because we do not agree with the way you are running this country. We do not. Now, this is from 2016's win. We do not agree. No, yeah, 2016. We do not agree with the way you're running this country. Please do not use our music. Eddie Levert went as far as to say, I don't want you using my voice. Because my voice says that I stand for this. No way. What you think?
I love it. I'm here for it all the way. I'm a second generation OJ's fan because of my mother and grandmother. I've been turned on to them. And not only that, it definitely shows the mentality in generations. Like you were able to bring up Snoop, Nelly. They're closer to millennial age. OJs are classic R&B singers that when you think about the OJs, the Temptations, like the whole Motown West and stuff, they were people, the artists before them, they were people who would sing at rallies and, sing about injustice and civil rights and all of that. So they know what it means to stand up for and not be willing to compromise. These later artists, it's all about compromising because it's all about self-importance. And well, this is my opportunity to be on this platform and this stage, even when I don't agree with or despise. But how does it, and they're not looking at the bigger picture. So I absolutely love it. The token black that he has on in his campaign needs to go sit down somewhere. Because I agree, no one on the other side of the fence is suggesting, hey, Trump, how about you sample the OJ? Like, no. And again, I keep saying this is why those on that side who hate those on this side hate those on this side so much because you love us that much. No one who has publicly said the things you've said about blacks should want, even in your private time, any of our music played, let alone you being represented by any music on this side after you publicly said things. That's just so bugged out to me. That is so bugged out. So I love the round of applause to the OJs. And every single artist should pay attention to their why and should stand up. Because can't nobody stop your money. If God says you still gonna be able to tour and you still gonna be able to make money, can nobody stop that for you. So they need to really pay attention to their why and stand on that same platform. Because this president just has way too much time to be banning this artist and this artist can't perform. How do you have time for this? Sir, it's too much. Like, all right. I love it. Here for it.
All right. Let's see what Pastor KL has got to say.
We don't know the OJs. Good morning.
Good morning.
Correction, you are the third generation, okay? You are the third, not the second, the third generation.
Grandmother,
I said I'm the second. I put
the third.
My mother on the same level.
Hey, Pastor KL.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
All right, thanks. All right. Listen, the OJs are taking a stand. Walter Williams even said, I was about to send out a cease and desist letter that you are not allowed to use our song. Eddie Levert says, I don't want you using my voice behind your work. I don't believe in what you stand for. What do you think about this thing here? Is it they're performing in any place that Trump invites them to? No, thank you.
I totally agree. And it's funny that in their old age, they're still in their right mind.
Yep.
They can still make that decision that this is not what we're going to do. And look at the irony with us who have went over to that side. The irony of for the love of money.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing it for the love of money. Look at the irony how we've sold out. And the song says that you'll sell out your own brother. Yeah. For the love of money. So I mean, it's just going full circle at this point.
All right. Now, talk about stand up and fight. You've got the family of this Florida security guard, Louis Butler, who they are furious. They are taking this company that he worked for to task, and the jury has awarded $779 million for their negligence. They say that this place, prior to the time that this place was robbed by this Cavante Washington, who killed Mr. Butler, he was the same one who robbed them weeks earlier and stole the gun from the place and came back, robbed them again, and this time Mr. Butler. And they are holding this company to task because they said that this company did not report this to the police at all, and probably because this was an illegal gambling spot as well. They said that they never reported that it was robbed. They never reported that the gun was stolen. And had they possibly gotten the police involved, that Mr. Butler might still be here. So they awarded them $779,000. Shanties.
So how is the same person able to hit the same spot twice in the time so close to each other? So he was testing y'all gangster. He said he forgot something. It's like, come on now. And then you're removing evidence and this. So you said he knew, the security guard knew that they were also doubling as an illegal gambling spot, right?
It doesn't say whether he knew. I would like to think he probably did know. He may have known or gotten some word. Because how you gonna work as a security guard and you have no idea? Even if this happened after your hours, somebody is talking and something is happening where you gotta have some inkling of an idea. But it was, wasn't on the, publicized. So I don't know. They don't necessarily say that he did or did not know.
Okay, because I mean, like, we know there's certain establishments that, okay, if you're doing that and you're covering as a front, if you don't feel like this one is going to be down, then you may try to keep it real tight lit, and if his shift ends at 5, you may not start till about 7 or 8 just to make sure he's going, before, or, you can have it to where he knows that when you slide that door gets you to the back to where the number hole is and so on and so forth. But either way, because you were trying to cover that up, you didn't do your just due in making sure that you reported it, making sure that you didn't now start tampering with evidence, making sure that, you didn't do your very best to not help this person out. He was, and again, this is why people are not willing to fight. I'm fighting to protect your money, your employees, your everything, but then I end up losing my life. And then 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up, when the smoke clear, you're going to end up running another illegal spot.
Yeah. So
I didn't just risk my life or die for what? Absolutely. That family should definitely clean up.
All right. Pastor Kale, 779 mil. Is that too much? Or is that like just enough? Or they should go for $1 billion?
Hey, I'm like, coming to America. Is that too much? Go for more. Go for more. Go for more. But I mean, a lot of things I'm looking at. One, he was worth more dead than alive. You know what I'm saying? So, and then 2, I don't know if you looked at it from this concept, but I think it was a robbery inside that went wrong. I think the girl was part of it. I think she set it all up. She got hit as a casualty, but she wasn't supposed to. I think the reason why she got hit is because old boy was playing superhero. But she could have been the very person who gave him the gun and gave him the inside on when to come. So I think it was just a robbery that went wrong.
Wow. Okay. Spoken like a true person who runs a store.
Right.
Wow. I mean, you never know. Well, Here we have a McDonald's who is, they want to allow some comfortability and some fun for their employees. So they allow them a dress down day, and the dress down day is pajama day. And they are allowed to come in dressed in their pajamas to work for this shift. And, we want to grant our employees this opportunity to relax and luxuriate. And we have some people that say, hey, this is a place of business. They are not normally working in a shirt and tie and high heel shoes and, dressing up every day. Why do they need a dress down day in their pajamas as though they are 10 years old and they need a real break? What's the big deal with that? No, I want my food served in regular clothes. Being looking like you just rolled out of bed is a little too much for me. Then you have the others who say, hey, listen, it's not like McDonald's is a 5-star restaurant. Come on. Well, give the people their day. Let them have fun. You know what? It's only one day. If they want to dress down, as long as they get my food right, my order right, my food is clean, they don't overcharge me, and they give me back my correct change, I'm good to go. Tatis, what say you?
This is why we will never rise as a people. McDonald's is already a casual uniform entity. You can't get any more. The next step down is pajamas. You're dealing with the public. People don't understand what you wear helps to determine your mentality, helps to determine your attitude. If I now have to make sure that I'm wearing a uniform, which already shows me I have to be intentional. I have to make sure it's ironed. I have to make sure there are no food stains on it. That helps to set my mentality up. Most of them literally wore that to bed the night before. I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you that if you put a hidden camera in the crew room or just behind the register, they even got to be in the back, secluded. How many of them probably took a shower the night before, put them pajamas on, went to bed, got up, maybe brushed their teeth? Maybe. Wow. Because listen, when you know what it means to work with people and work with people that don't mind dressing like this. Not only that, as a female, half of you, because you're wearing pajamas, you're not going to unwrap your hair because you're wearing pajamas. Why does my hair have to be on point? You're going to keep your hair wrapped because most of them keep their hair wrapped anyway. When you go to a McDonald's, most of the time they wear them hats, the hair is wrapped in the hairnet. So if I do that already with the McDonald's uniform, now I'm wearing uniform, why am I going to now make sure that my hair and everything is on point, my scalp is greased and all of that? I'm wearing pajamas. Now I don't even eat McDonald's, and thank you for giving me another reason, McDonald's. But now I walk up in there and I want me a McChicken and a Oreo flurry. And this is what I'm looking at Mickey Mouse on your chest. No, it's just way too, no. And again, you as an entity are not preparing them. This should not be, unless you are choosing to be a manager or a McDonald's franchise owner, this as an adult should not be your last stop in your work life. So how am I now setting you up to possibly get a better job if when you're already casual, I'm now enforcing a casual day? It's already casual. And this is the problem with everyone has lowered their standards. When you go to Cheesecake Factory now, they're no longer mandated to wear ties. I am very upset. They now wear all black. They have to wear a button up, but the button up don't have to be buttoned all the way up. Why are the standards dropping? Why? Half of the men before they started working at Cheesecake didn't know how to tie a tie, none of that. So now you just help for their standards to not have to be increased because now these things are not mandated anymore. No, that is just way too much. And shame on whomever done. This is how people do. I'm already sitting on top. I don't care about how the peasants look because whoever patronizes McDonald's I'm gonna make my money regardless. So I'm not helping to set them up for success. And the food, it don't matter how it's getting served or whatever, because as long as my numbers don't look different, I'm good. It's disgusting.
All righty. We got Pastor Brenda in the house. So we're talking about the McDonald's restaurant that allowed their employees to have a dress down day, and their dress down day was pajama day. They were allowed to wear pajamas for the day. Some people say, absolutely not. I want my food served in their regular attire. Looking like they just got out of bed is not comfortable for me. And you got the others that say, listen, McDonald's ain't no 5-star restaurant. No way. Listen, let them have fun. It's only one day. The KL, come on, what you got?
Well, you know what? I love being on with Shanti. Because Shanti says a whole lot of stuff that makes me work. You know, she had great points. You know, the first thing I said, as she said, these folks are coming right out of bed. They ain't putting no bra on. They just coming flapping. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, if I can just be honest, some women don't look good in pajamas. They get entirely too comfortable. Now I got to worry about you tucking fries or cheese getting caught. No, I don't want to see all that stuff. I just don't want to see that. Now I'm going to flip it to the other side now, because we're talking about kids wearing pajamas. So tell me, what's the difference between these grown light-skinned adults and black adults who wear these ugly sweaters during Christmas? It's the same thing. We allow them to have dress down day, to wear ugly sweaters, to wear ugly stuff. So if they can do it as grown adults, you know, you're not gonna get no CEO job with no ugly sweater. What's the difference? There is no difference.
Wow. Okay. Good morning, Pastor Brenda.
Good morning. Happy last Tuesday of 2025.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. We missed Pastor Vinny today, and but we're so happy to have you. Listen, what say you about this dress down PJ day at McDonald's? Is it a huge deal? Oh, listen, it's only one day. They're only serving burgers and fries. We can live with it.
How about they close the restaurant down at a certain time and then have that event for the employees to enjoy? Okay, because I honestly, you know, especially down here, I'm sick of seeing people outside. Forget pajama day. Every day for them is pajama day. Pajama day, bonnet day, slide day. I mean, just look at any old way. No. And I'm very particular when it comes to people serving my food. It's not saying that, you know, people have the ones that wear the ties and the shirt that they're going to make things any better. But no, you can have a special time dedicated just for the employees to enjoy it, because you're not going to enjoy it and you have to work. Come on. Have a special time. Close the restaurant down maybe, you know, for a couple of hours, say from 2 to 5, you know, after the lunch rush, before the dinner rush, and then let the employees enjoy themselves. You know, I don't do the ugly sweater thing either. I'm like, you know, no. Pajama day, no. Because people are gonna take it, like Pastor Kale said, they're gonna just roll out of bed and just come in out, you know, sleep still in the eyes, and no. Let's put it
Wow. Y'all don't have a whole lot of confidence in our people.
Because we've seen it. I've watched it happen for school. Pajama day in school. How many times we looked and was like, that's what they would have been last night. Did nobody wake up and say, okay, I'm gonna put this on? And then you, again, when you're conversing with, so if pajama days in the wintertime, if I have on a onesie, do you have shorts on under that onesie? Do you have leggings on under that onesie? That helps to show us how intentional you were, because you're not sleeping with the onesie and the leggings, or the onesie and the shorts. But if this onesie is now your outside clothes because it's pajama day, then you're gonna dress like you're going outside. We've watched it. They're not preparing themselves like that. This is my day where this is my extra excuse to not have to care about how I look.
Exactly.
Wow.
But how about the pajamas that don't match? I'm wearing Shawnee's top and Shantice's bottom. Because I need an outfit. It don't match. You looking crazy.
Wow. Oh my God. Tamika says, if you are serving people, please be presentable. No one wants to see what you sleep in when you serve me my food. It puts me in the mind that you haven't washed. No, thank you. I'm good. Carry on without me. We are going to start seeing people in their bonnets and bedroom shoes. Nope, I said again, I'm good. Yes, Shantice, put your weight on it. Or should I say, server Joe. Yes.
Listen, what about that one person who, no matter what, she thinks she a diva? So she coming in her furry slippers, you know what I mean, and a negligee, because that's her pajamas. Because she has, and then she gonna wear the bracelets and the chain because she gotta show that. No. Have a seat.
That's the first thing before they finish saying pajama day. No lingerie comes out before the day can finish out, because there have been, even in schools, you say pajama day and the teenagers are showing up in negligee, and we're like, where are you going? Like, we're still in the public. We didn't say we were sending in pictures for how we looked at home. So before, whether you're in an office job, where in my opinion this would make a lot more sense in an office job because you're not dealing with the public, it's just whoever's in that office, unless you don't have clients coming in. But an office job, a school, anything, before they can finish saying pajama day, it's no lingerie, no negligees, no nightgowns, no. They have to enforce that hard because they tried it and they've come up in there with see-through.
Wow.
They stack, yes, yeah, like they looking for their Boaz, yes.
Showing all their Boaz. They showing their Boaz. That's what it is.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so let me weigh in. I say absolutely not. I still think that when you're talking about serving food, you still have to be presentable. You're still talking about serving people's food. And you should not look like you are serving me from your bed. Now, y'all don't went as far as to say that people ain't washed up and got crud in their eyes and all of that kind of stuff. And maybe you're right. I can't, dispel what I don't know. But regardless of that, just the pajama look, when I looked at the picture they had, I was like, no, I don't want nobody serving me no food looking like that. Now you say, the comment was, well, it's not like McDonald's is a 5-star restaurant. Okay, but again, I do say we need to still help to increase the standard. We don't need to give anybody a reason to feel like they're not at work. You are still working. There was a statement that was made that says, listen, they're working. They're being paid to work. And my thing is that sets apart everything. You're being paid to work. You're not doing me no favor. You are being paid to work. So when I come to get my food, I still expect for you to look professional. And if professional means you got to keep them pajamas off, then you know what? I should see the difference between home and work. And here, there is no difference. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. You find another way to make them feel comfortable. Find another way to make them feel relaxed. Give them $5 extra in their paycheck. I don't know what you're going to do, but I think that there's many other ways you can help them feel comfortable and enjoy themselves than for me to look like you served me breakfast when you just came out your bed. So I happen to agree with all of you and all of your points. Unfortunately, we still have not figured out how to mix the two. How to give people an appreciation day, but yet still keep it professional. And I'm going to tell you something. This is on the other side of the fence.
Yes.
This is on the other side of the fence.
That we don't care.
Ones that said You know what? You know why? Because they didn't see, like Pastor Brenda said, they didn't see them looking like this already. So we know what makes you happy. So you know what? Go ahead and do what you do. And this is the way I can shut you up.
Without having to give you that extra $5 paycheck, Pastor Steph, because that's exactly what it's about. Like you said, I want to show you appreciation. What's a better way of showing you appreciation than to give you a monetary bonus? But I don't want to do that. So like you said, I'm going to already give you an opportunity to look and be and act the way you naturally look, be, and act. And nobody wants to do. And I said, shout out to Models, because they are the only company I've ever worked for that when it came time to show appreciation, they outdid themselves in showing they spent money on all the Models in the tri-state area. They had a charter bus go to every single store and pick us up and took us to this huge hall downtown. And there was catered food, there was a DJ, there was everything for the whole entire night. And the bus took you back. So your only job was you just had to make it back home from the store you worked at. That was the only thing you had to worry about. But they spent money, and that was their way of saying thank you for helping us make money throughout the year. And that will never leave me. And I've worked for $1 billion restaurants and everything, and y'all can't give us a steak. At the end of the night, y'all give us pizza, you'll give us heroes, you give us all, but it's sad. It's sad. Like you said, this is how we'll pacify you in the name of showing you appreciation. And when you don't know what it is to truly be appreciated, you'll accept it. You'll accept it. And you'll think, oh, well, we get dressed down day, even though I dressed down already.
Right.
Like, sit down, have a seat.
Right. And that's what I said. This is from the other side of the fence.
Yes.
This is the big pacifier in the mouth.
Yes.
And now we just walk off and we're not going to pay you a penny. Big pacifier. Nope. Boop. That'll shut you up. Stroke you a couple of for a day. And then we ain't got to worry about you no more because, like you said, we'll walk off talking about, oh, they let us come in our pajamas. Oh, Lord have mercy. All righty. Thank you for indulging us on our news. Well, we've been talking about last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, yesterday. We've been talking about, our children and, how we are dealing with them as parents. How are we dealing with punishment? Yesterday, the Chicago Teachers Union said, we need to show them when they misbehave, we need to show them. Shatis, turn that down just a little bit, please. We really need to show them, how we, that there's a difference in, punishment and the real world. Being in prison and the real world. And we are really seeing some heinous behavior from our children. And the question yesterday was, what do we do with these kids? If we don't discipline them properly, will this stuff graduate into other behavior, other activities, or will it just nail the point of there's punishment behind your actions? In the video, and I really want us to listen carefully and watch how bad this can get and ask, what are we going to do with these children?
Oh, play the first one.
A 10-year-old boy put his 2-year-old sister inside a microwave and turned it on. By the time his father realized something was wrong, the little girl, Danny, was already dead. Horrified and desperate, the father immediately called 911. Even after the police arrested the boy, named Dallas, he still didn't seem to grasp the seriousness of his actions. He even thought that since he was a kid, he'd easily be forgiven. When the police asked him why he did it, Dallas explained that ever since his sister was born, she'd taken all of their parents' love and attention. This wasn't the first time time he'd tried to hurt her. Earlier, he'd attempted to suffocate her by covering her face with a jacket. Luckily, their mother noticed in time, punished him severely, and prevented a tragedy. But his resentment toward his sister had already taken root. He was convinced she'd taken everything he had. So when his mother wasn't looking, Dallas put Danny in the microwave and turned it on. By the time his father smelled the burning, it was already too late. During the trial, Danny's mother broke down in tears. Because Dallas was under 15, he couldn't face a harsher sentence. In the end, the judge sentenced him to 10 years in custodial detention and 1 year of probation. Do you think minors who commit such serious crimes should be tried as adults?
If Shanti's put Tamasia in the microwave,
Oh God.
if Courtney put your baby in the microwave, Brandon, Pastor Brenda, if your oldest put your baby in the microwave, I just want that to marinate. What do you do? How do you handle this? We have a check-in from Xavier. He says, kids have been crazy since the 50s. When have kids not been rebellious? And why not focus on how many children are missing and see traffic in America? All right. Thank you for your thoughts and your comments, Xavier. Today's topic is, how do we handle children who are so young and are committing such heinous crimes? Pastor Brenda, I want to start with you. Where do we go from here? How do you handle this? How do you respond to this behavior?
Oh, when there are certain tendencies that are recognized, when certain behavior patterns that are recognized. If you see a 3-year-old strangling cats, don't wait until they become six and then decide, and then when they start strangling kids, human beings, and think nothing of it. There's no feeling about it. Bringing another baby into the world. I mean, we have 3 sons, and we made sure that they interacted with the baby, and they also knew that they were loved. We weren't trying to replace the baby. We weren't taking extra time. We definitely spent more time. I don't know the dynamics of this family per se.
Right.
But
right.
There's certain things that jumped out at me that needed to be addressed even before he got to that point. He just sadly looked like a soulless child. He really looked like like a soulless child, like he was just going to do what he had to do to get the attention before this new baby came back. The mindset that disturbed me. The mindset that you would put the baby in the microwave. Sometimes kids see stuff on in cartoons, and they think that because the person survived in the cartoon, that in real life they're going to survive. We also would see when the coyote and the roadrunner, and they'd have rocks dropped on them and stuff like that. Some kids have tried to drop rocks on other kids and think they're going to survive. So it's just the mentality of it all. To deal with it, it has to be some pretty tough things that he would have to face, because you can't bring that baby back. You can't bring the baby back. And for him to say, he felt the attention was being, given more to the baby, and this was not the first time that they had an episode with him. Again, some counseling. Back in the day, it would have been a nice little butt whipping and called it a day at the races. they would have monitored your behavior from them. But now we know that, certain behaviors, DCF, Department of Children and Families, be at your doorstep faster than they would have monitored your behavior. So it's just so complicated, Pastor Steph. It really is complicated, and I really feel for the family. There's been a destruction in that family, not only for the kids, but for the parents and for anyone that's related to that family. It's been total destruction. I'm sure that 10 years old. Did he have behavioral problems in school? It just seems to be something that was across the board. Not that it was missed, but that it wasn't addressed.
Okay. Pastor KL, what are we talking about here? How do you respond? The judge gave him 10 years of detention and 1 year of probation. Was this appropriate and, enough, or should it have been more?
Okay, so I'm not well versed with the legal terms. So when you said 10 years of detention, does that mean he's out of my house?
Yes,
he's in a detention facility.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I would say he would have to come out of my house.
Yeah.
Because he would be dead. So I think he got the better option of it too. Now the other side of it too is that I also have to give some kind of fault to the parents, because you said there was an issue before.
Yes.
And he had the ability to be left alone with the child. When you said there was an issue before, how do you leave this crazy deranged child with the baby who he don't like?
Mm-hmm.
He don't like the baby. I don't like the baby. So in his mind, I needed to go back to the way it used to be. So baby got to go bye-bye. Mm-hmm. So at some point, you got to blame the parents too. You think, listen, this is what I know. When a woman gets pregnant and she has children, they like to put the child a part of the process. Oh, look, feel the baby. The baby in mommy's belly. So they can't wait till the baby comes. You understand what I'm saying? They're part of the whole process. You can't wait till the baby comes and now I want you to kumbaya with the baby. Right. No, all this other time I've been getting all the ice cream. You know what I mean? I've been getting the milk and cookies. Now you telling me I gotta wait because you have to explain the process that's going to happen. They may not under the 100%, but now they feel a part of. You're going to be a bigger brother. You're going to be a big sister. These are the things. Oh my God, they're going to be looking up to you. They're going to want to run behind. You got to make them feel just as important as they are now than when the baby will come. So I fought them as well.
And also to see that it was a baby girl, and how some people will fawn over a baby girl more than they would fawn over a boy. That would also bring out some kind of resentment. Because, she's so cute, or she's this. And meanwhile, little Johnny been standing around, and it's like, well, nobody's paying attention to me.
Right. That could be a dynamic, Pastor Brenda. That could really be a dynamic. Serge says, wait a minute. Now he is still young. The jealousy is there with kids. I don't understand why the parents saw the signs and ignored it. I won't blame him. You sound like Brian Prince last week, Serge. Because the parents weren't doing the things to make the situation good between him and his little one. The mindset of the child is wrong. There had to be something going on between him and the parents. Tamika says the parents probably underestimated the situation as just a little subliminal jealousy. John Tease, is this 10 years in a detention center and 1 year post good enough? Or should it be more? Is it too much?
But I think it should be the 10 years in detention because he's still an adolescent. He's not even a teenager. And then there should be some years given for like some type of serious life program that like analyzes every part of your life. your mentality, your feelings, your actions, your reactions, your thoughts, what makes you want to do this, so on and so forth. Because it may take the first 10 years to actually realize what you did. They say he still didn't understand that what he did was wrong. And I'm looking at the expression on his face. He was still mad.
He was yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. My thing is, if I'm all that jealous of you and I just killed you, there should be some sort of relief in my life.
Right.
You still sitting there like they said, well, she made it, and you like, maybe I should have put her in for 10 minutes instead of 5. Like, that's how he was sitting there looking like. This was like, yo, like, I'm still mad. Like, not mad I got caught, but mad at the why behind why I even did this. Mm-hmm. So it may take just the first 10 years for it to really sink in that I did this and that now I done got caught and there's some type of punishment for it. Now you let him out because 1 year probation means nothing. So now you let him out after that. So what is he, a late teen, early 20s? You probably even more upset than when you went up in there. No, it needs to be something a lot more extensive. I agree. There's no way I catch you or almost catch you about to put anything over my baby's face and they don't come finding you hanging upside down. I said yesterday, I'm all for hanging the kids upside down. There's no way that I'd have been sitting in a courtroom crying and stuff like this. I'd have been crying because they said, Ms. Martin said, you now getting 15 years for, you can't hang a child upside down for 15 hours, Ms. Martin. You can't. And then I got to explain why I did it. There's way too, if we're nobodies and we're coming across all this news content of parents killing kids and kids killing parents, there is no way you're not up on the fact that you cannot overlook simple, first of all, not even simple, but you can't overlook anything. If your baby is crying and you see your other kid just walk by and don't even flinch, pay attention to that.
Yep.
Like, you don't hear that baby crying like that. Like, you ain't even come to me and say, Mama, the baby crying. Like, you need to pay attention to everything. So yes, there was a high negligence on the parents' side because, as it was said, and I agree, you wouldn't have had a chance to even be able to be in the same room looking at that baby unattended. Like, no. So there definitely should be more extensive time, but with a purpose for him. And unfortunately, these parents had to learn the hard way that they just lost both children. Because how do you even come back from this? I mean, we know that God can reconcile anything. At the same time, how do you, this ain't just no simple bounce back. This ain't you stole from me. This ain't like the video we saw a few weeks ago where you tore my house up. And like this ain't even that. This is, how do you come back? How do you come back to my house? How do you think you can come back to my house? How do we sit down for dinner? How do we, like, do I have another child? And do you think that she'll be allowed, even with supervision, around my other child? Like, no, it needs to be more time for him, but intentional, purpose-driven time that'll really analyze and exorcise the psyche and the emotions, because that right there, for that to become a thought and you actually execute it, you probably have to stand up on a stool to even get to the microwave, but you got that baby up on the counter or whatever and put the baby in and turned it on. Nah.
Yeah. Tamika says, I thought I was the only one who saw that face. My God. Oh, absolutely not. That face was shining bright like a diamond up in that screen just now. Sir says, my thing is that the negligence of parents is superb to me. How did he have time to walk to the microwave, press the buttons, and turn on the microwave? Like, how you don't see this? This is what this. I guess he's saying that's how the parents showed negligence. It's how bad parenting. Stop having kids if you're not going to do it right or know how to do it right. So some of the dynamics of what could have gone wrong was, Pastor Brenda said one of them, they always dote on these baby girls and so forth and so on. And who knows, was this a doting situation? Oh, this is the princess and blah, 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 blah. Also, do they have the same father? Because some of these women, they have children with new men, and now this is a new world. So not when Pastor KL says you have to include them in the process of the child coming here. let me tell you something. I've seen some messes of y'all that got married. Before you married, everybody got to get acclimated to this, all this change. All this change. New baby, new husband, new mama. This stuff is real.
Yep.
It's real. People do not get acclimated as quickly as you feel they should because you did. You didn't went and started a whole new family, and all the old kids got to adopt to the new daddy, the new baby, the new home. I don't understand this. I know someone personally. She had 2 boys, and I think they were like 2 years apart. The boys, same dad. They weren't married. Her and the guy was not married. I think maybe could have been maybe around 10 and 8. She got married to this guy who had been around the kids for a while. They got married. She came back from the honeymoon pregnant. I was like, yo, that you stupid. You haven't given any room. I don't care how much time he spent around those boys. You didn't even give an opportunity for him to come in the house. Y'all didn't live together. This living arrangement is now going to shift. How they deal with this man as he comes and goes as a visitor is one thing. How they deal with this man who's now going to be in the house, setting rules, always there, not always in agreement. You're going to have to deal with the discipline on a regular basis. And that in and of itself needs some acclimating time. Now you can from the honeymoon with a baby in your belly. So now you hormonal. They trying to get this together. He trying to get this together. And lo and behold, they had a girl. So Jesus. We don't plan properly. None of these things are considered. I'm like, I could not believe it. I could not believe. I was like, so all of these things, we don't, like Pastor Brenda, you said, we don't know the exact intricacies of this situation, but all of these things become something that we need to pay attention to. That could have very well fed how this kid was feeling. And but he made an attempt on the child's life. He failed, and now he went for one he knew would not fail. And I remember my youngest and my oldest are 8 years apart, and we would. She used to pick with her all the time. She's always pick with the older one used to pick with the youngest one all the time. She walked by, put her hand in her chips. All kinds of things. She would never hurt her, but just pick with her all the time. I said, stop that. Stop picking with her. So there would be times we'd hear, and we go run into the room, and she was just standing there. And Shantice could tell you, Shawnee's would just be standing there at Tamasia's walker or high chair. Did nothing. Did she do something for you? She'd say no. So Shawnee's would be like, I just can't stand here. I'm like, no. No. You can't stand there. Just Shawnee's presence would upset her. Why? Because in previous times she would pick with her. So in her head, she was like, it's only a matter of time before you pick with me. And you should be screaming bloody murder. We take off running because we think something was wrong. And she'd just be standing there or standing over the crib just looking at her. And we like, wow. You don't understand that or what, like I said, she never did anything. She never hit her, or as far as we know, she never did anything to her to physically hurt her. And Tamasia never said she did. Never said she did. But the fact of the matter is, we have to consider all these things. Yeah. All these things have to be considered. And there's a big possibility, like you said, Pastor Brenda, that they could have been doting over this little girl. This could have been a new father, a different father, and now he's trying to get, now he's like, well, here comes the man, here comes the baby. Now my whole life is flipped upside. So we don't know what got him to this point. Not saying that he should have been, but we don't know people's heads. We don't know why. We don't know how they get there. However, whatever happens in this 10 years, whether it was 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, he needs some intense therapy on anger management. He needs on just these little small things that we have to deal with in life. Change. Old people tell you, I like change. Yo, what is that? You 70 and you don't like change, so ain't no change in 70 years? Stop. You didn't have to deal with some change. When you went from elementary to junior high, there was change. When you went from junior high to high school, there was change. When you went from high school to adult, there was just, stop talking about you 80 years old, you don't like no change. Stop. So even old people spent they didn't just get like that. They've been like this. So he needs whatever time he spent away from that home as a punishment. He needs to have that time with those types of classes, learning opportunities, just helping to undo some of the things in his head as to how to respond to change, how to respond to things that you don't like, because that's life. We're going to face things all the time that we don't like. So I think it doesn't matter how long you lock them up for if none of those things are addressed. If you just lock him up and all he's going to deal with is, punishment, then it's going to be a waste of time. It's going to be a complete waste of time. We got a check-in from A. Lopez. How many kids were missing since Obama crossing the border illegally is sad. Absolutely is sad. There's we will have a conversation about that. Today's topic is what we're facing now. How do we deal with these behavioral patterns of some children, and how do we deal? What does the punishment? What proper punishment fits the crime, if you will? Pastor KL, since you're the first one on your way out here, what are we telling our viewers and our listeners to close this out?
Well, you have to be mindful of what's going on in your home and your surroundings. Children do what children do when they don't feel the same amount of love. When it doesn't, children are into routines. If I know that if I come home, I'm going to get a cookie and milk, then this is what I'm looking for when I come home. When that changes because now you have to go take care of my little sister, I don't understand why I can't get my cookie and milk first. And unless you explain it to me and make me a part of the transition, then I'm resentful. And you can't be mad that I'm mad because you created the atmosphere. So when we change the dynamics of our family, we have to be able to explain to the entire family that dynamic will change. You understand it because you're the one who created the change. Right. However, the person who has not asked for the change, who has not seen the change, or who does not know what the change looks like when the change comes, he or she is not comfortable. You have to make the transition as smooth as possible.
Amen. Amen. So much. Thank you so much, Pastor KL. I know you'll probably be checking out before we have an opportunity to close. Right. Thank you so much for your contribution today. Pastor Brenda. Pastor Brenda, Shantice. How are we getting up out of here today? What are we telling our viewers and our listeners?
Pay attention to what God has in our face right now. There's a whole lot. They will forever, until God shuts this world down, there will forever be issues. He's itemizing said issues and prioritizing them and ensuring that we are paying attention to what he sees needs everyone's attention. And then he's going down the list. So we're paying attention to these out of control kids who have out of control emotions. It's like we spoke yesterday, about these kids and their emotions and their feelings. And are we as parents, guardians, loved ones, supporters, assisting in taking care of and enforcing things with these children so that they know how to properly deal with? As it was said, you ain't wake up and decide you're jealous and now put the baby in the microwave. There were other things that you showed that displayed jealousy, that showed you didn't care for the baby all that much, that showed that there was some type of animosity towards your mother or towards, if that was your father or your stepfather, whomever. The things shown, are we paying attention to these things, or are we choosing to focus on the things we want to focus on because that's what we feel like is important? So I have a 7-year-old already, but I have a newborn. In my opinion, the newborn needs me more than the 7-year-old. Is that really the case? Because now the 7-year-old and just kills newborn. So who needs more attention? You gotta pay attention to what God is putting before us and not thinking that we have it down pat to where we can focus on what we deem important and we end up on the losing end. So pay attention.
Amen. 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 Thank you so much. Pastor Brenda, you got the final word today with the group. What are you saying to our viewers and listeners? What's the wise word today?
Communication is definitely the key. You see, and pay attention to the signs, as others have said, pay attention to the signs. If you give your child a sketchbook and they're drawing somebody with a knife in their hand and blood dripping, little droplets, that would be alarming. Say, hey, what do you mean by this? Don't be afraid to confront the hard issues. A lot of times people are using social media, tablets, whatever, as a babysitter and not monitoring what folks are watching. There's some real crazy things that have come across. Sometimes, as I've been, the grandkids have stayed with us at times and, they look at like YouTube. And it's like, whoa, what is this? What is this?
Right.
There's certain behavior, and then they're going to internalize that. And there's certain behaviors that they're going to think that it's okay. So we have to make sure that we are on top of things. It's, back in the day, our parents used to say, I feed you and I have put a roof over your head, and that was enough. There was no such thing really as having an open communication. And unfortunately, there were a lot of kids that just went buck wild because, the parents felt that just the food and the clothes on their back and having a place for them to sleep, that was good enough. Some of these kids have some deep-seated issues. And the way that we were raised back in the day, some things may still work, but we got to ramp up our game. In order to keep us out of jail and keep them out of jail. We have to ramp up.
Amen. Thank you so much for those words of wisdom. Thank you so much, my Due Time crew, for your contribution into today's conversation. And we pray you have a blessed day.
Happy New Year, everybody. Blessings.
Have a wonderful one. Have a blessed rest of your week. Thank you so much. We have the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. That's Proverbs 12:25. We have, when a scoffer is punished, the simple becomes wise. When a wise man is instructed, he gains wisdom. Proverbs 21:11. We have Proverbs 15:5. A fool despises his father's instruction, but whoever heeds reproof is prudent. Proverbs 14:16. One who is wise is cautious and turns away from evil, but a fool is reckless and careless. What am I talking about? When a person hears words of advice, you take heed. You pay attention to what is being given to you before you X out those words of wisdom and trade them in for your own. You know, the Bible tells us that we are overcome by their testimony. And one thing about this group is we are very transparent. We talk very much about our own experiences. And what we have experienced, we don't mind sharing. We don't mind sharing. So my advice to you is God has us here each and every day, and pay close attention to what you're being given. We have, let me get just a little adjustment here. There are things that we look back on now that if we could change, we would. Hindsight is 20/20. You learn from your mistakes. But learning from someone else's mistakes is golden. I've heard people say 1,000,000 times, I have to do it myself in order to learn. Or people, they had to do it in order to learn. That ain't biblical. I just got finished reading you a whole series of verses that show that if someone is giving you words of wisdom, words of advice, that you would be wise to pay attention. And I gave you an example of someone I knew who made what they thought was, when I tell you she was ecstatic about coming home. Couldn't wait to tell me. And we're childhood friends. So it's just not somebody I just met. Childhood friends, elementary school friends. And I just could not understand. I saw so much more that could go wrong opposed to what could go right. Now, well, that was her life. Let her live her life. She got to learn her stuff. No, because look at what could possibly happen when we introduce things just a little sooner than we should. Things that could possibly happen when we introduce things that should not be introduced at all. That's where I ultimately want to go. As the panel was talking, something was delivered to me. Are we following God's direction for our life? Are we? Are we? Are we? So last week, Brother Ainsley said something. He said, you know what? When you are out of God's order, then things just don't go right. Things don't end up the way they should. Now, we're not talking about things work out for those of them, that love the Lord. How God just turns it around for your benefit. We ain't talking about that. Because if God opted not to do that, then where would we be on a lot of decisions we make? A lot of times our first movement is wrong. Go back to Ainsley's concept. The first movement is wrong. So we didn't rush into a relationship. We've had this baby. And now we have this big oops that we are now facing. We love our child. We raise the child. We give them everything. And then God sends someone who loves us, and we decide we're going to get married and we're going to build a family. And all you're thinking about is, this is my new husband. This is my new wife. I've waited, and now it's time for us to build a family. A lot of thought is not given to the beginning. How do I know? Because, baby, when I tell you I talk. When I tell you I listen. And one of the things that anybody who knows Pastor Steph knows, I'm dangerous with a question. I'm not more for advice than to give you thought-provoking questions. And that's why I gave you that example I gave you of the woman that I knew. I knew that she had this relationship with this man who promised that he would marry her and they were going to have a future and blah, 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 blah. But there were a whole lot of indicators that showed that was not going to be no good relationship. I could think of 50 off the top of my head. And I used to ask her as a friend, well, is that what you really want to do? You know, this is what he wants to do. And finally, after a while, they began to rub one another wrong and they decided to separate. And now she's pining over not having a father for these kids, boys, and wanting a father for these boys. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But let's go back. It started wrong. And then she ain't the only one. I've done it, started wrong. Many. And I'm giving you a scenario that I'm hoping you catch. So now we have the dynamic of I want to get married because I want to be in a relationship and I want to be in a permanent relationship and I want a family dynamic in my life and I want a father for my boys and so forth and so on. So now I meet someone, I get along well. He's good for me. He treats me nice. He's showing me that there's a future. I've integrated the relationship between him and the boys and they're all doing well and everything is moving nicely. And now it's time to get married. He proposed to me and now I'm getting married. Now the smarter thing to do would have been to set up that family dynamic. Everybody get in the house. Let's see how this goes. Because who's to say that this is going to work smoothly? Most times than not, it's going to be some bump in the road. Because again, they come from a single parent household. So only one person is ruling. We come from a home where it's a strong parent. So they're accustomed to, doing things their own way and making it happen and blah, 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 blah. So now these kids have to now be faced with another person in the home to now have say. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of women have a hard time swallowing that man, which was always funny to me because I'm like, well, didn't you know this was good? Wasn't this a plan? No. But despite the fact that it's a plan, don't be disciplining my kids. I'll discipline. How you bring the man in the house? You don't want the man disciplining kids. He running the house. It's his house. He paying rent. He paying bills. But the kids get to have to say, and he doesn't. Women, again, where's the plan? You want the marriage. You want the relationship. You want the family, but you don't want the discipline to go on. Because the kids are warring against the discipline because you having a hard time swallowing the fact that somebody else got some say over your kids. But pay attention to me. Pay attention. So now we haven't secured that we're on an even keel. So let's say for argument's sake, it would take a year for this to become, an acclimated behavior, lifestyle. We're all we didn't went through the rough. We haven't given it time yet. Because we came home from the honeymoon with a baby in our belly. Now, as an older woman, because we ain't 30, we ain't 25 at this point, we are on the older side of life. Hormones are going to be out of this world. We can't dictate or determine how our bodies are going to handle this pregnancy. We're not going to dictate how we will be mentally, emotionally. And now I'm dealing with a husband who I'm beginning to learn how it is to live together without the pregnancy hormonal issue is one thing. Now we're adding to that. Now I got to deal with my kids who are getting older. And now my hormones all over the place. So separately. But now we're going to put that all together because guess what? We're all under one roof. So now all of this stuff has to work. because we didn't set this arrangement up. Is this God's plan? Is this God's will? Or is it, well, we're so happy to be married, to have a father in the home, to be having another child, because now I'm having a child with my husband. Who's to say that you even should have had a child with the husband? I'm not saying not. That's not for me to say, but I'm putting it out there. Have we consulted God with these plans? Have we put these plans up and then asked God to bless the plan? Or have we gone to God first and said, God, give me your plan for this life that I have here? We started it off wrong. How long are we going to be in control before God has a say? How long are we going to be in control before we're going to have to give in and then go to God to fix this mess that we didn't make? Now, I don't know how much of a mess this is. If it's not a mess at all, I'm bringing this to you as something, as a warning. As a person who has lived through making decisions, and God had to, put a halt. And I'm going to be transparent. I purchased a home when I was 28 years old. I had 2 girls when I purchased a home. Later on, so that was 4 years later, another child came. That was my 3rd child. And I remember I struggled with this house. I struggled to keep, me and God worked to keep this house afloat. Payments, mortgages, utilities, bills, taking care of kids, single parent. And I remember saying, if a man, now I wanted a husband. And I remember saying, if a man is going to marry me, he can't come up in this house telling me what to do, telling me and giving me rules, because it was me and God who struggled with this house. Nobody's coming up in here telling me what to do. Now I wanted a husband. And that was logical to me, because you ain't coming from nothing and coming up in here with my struggle. I didn't held this down by myself. Here you come up in here, now you gonna run things? I don't think so. The Lord had to stop me and give me some new information. Thank you. Thank you, God. I always tell y'all, if you ever listen to me before, I always tell you, God snatches me by the collar. I don't get away with nothing. But that was God introducing to Stephanie, this was quite a while ago, that stop making your plan. Stop having your decision. Now, as logical as it was, it is not what God had planned for this home and my life. It wasn't. And he had to let me know about that thing. And I slowly began to understand that this ain't my life. These are not my plans. I may have made decisions before I got to know who God should be in my life. God should be number 1 in your life. He needs to be number 1, because it'll keep us from making so many errors that he's got to come and clean up later. So now that changes the trajectory of all of our prayers, because now our prayers are, God, please save me. God, please help me. God, please change this. God, please make this happen. God, please undo this thing. God, please send this and this. No. Opposed to us putting it before God, let God put it before God, and take let God order your steps. Don't wake up telling God what you're gonna do, telling this world what you're gonna do, making your plans, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't care. It don't work for nobody. When we are on our own tangent, and we then concede to what God's plans are, we are unhappy people. Why? Because it means that things have to be undone, and we got to go back to square one. We have to take 5 steps backwards in order to make 5 steps forward. And we don't like that process. We always want to be moving full speed ahead, but we can't. Sometimes God's got to slow that process down and fix some things ahead so that when we get there, it'll be different. God's got to change anything. Once we decide to give our lives to God, He's got to change things so that we can be on His path. And I'm watching so many people make their own plans for all their logical reasons, all the reasons that make sense to them. So how do we get here from today's video? Because as was said, she had a son already. And here she has a baby. And the child didn't take well to the new addition of the family. And we don't know why. Again, we don't know why. We don't know if they relocated and now he had to give up his friends. We don't know anything. But all we know is the end result. And we need to think about all of the things that could have led up to that end result. Now, we can't change this for the family, but we can surely change for us, for our lives. Before we get to that disastrous end result, something that you can't do anything about it. Shanti said it well. They've lost 2 children. She's definitely lost 2 children, because we're going to assume that, possibly, but there's possibility that this is not both a father to both children. But we know it's both her kids. So if this is both a father to both children, and this is their marriage, and later they figure they wait a little bit and have a child and so forth and so on, and so I'm not saying that any of these things are wrong, because I don't know. But what I will say is, if you've done it without consulting God first, it is wrong. It is wrong, because the Bible tells us that He is the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end. It says that He is the author and the finisher of our faith. There is nowhere in the world we can make plans without God and automatically assume that it's right, because we're supposed to concede and put God first. So anytime we don't put God first, it is automatically out of alignment with His design and His plan for our life. We now want our plans to fall in line with His plan. And most times, He has to end up cleaning up our mess. So let's make that our business, to seek God first and the kingdom of God, and all of these things shall be added. We've been given that instruction. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. So let me make sure I say that other verse right. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. That's Matthew 6:33. And the other one, delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart, in Psalms 37:4. There's a plan. God says, put me first. Let me be the one. And there'll be nothing you have to worry about. I promise. I promise. We don't want to end up behind the 8 ball and have to eat things that will tear us apart. God gets no glory out of that. He gets no joy out of that. Well, let's make sure we put God first in everything we do, so that we can see the greatest results. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping keeping that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to just Accept God as your personal, accept Jesus as your personal Savior. Make God the head of your life right now. Please do not miss this opportunity. Please do not miss this opportunity to just make God the head and get closer with Him right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until tomorrow, God spares, where it's Wild Wednesday. And it's going to be a Wild Wednesday because we're closing this year down big time. We've got our men and our women on. And if you heard last Wednesday's segment, you definitely don't want to miss this week's segment. Until then, God spares. I love you.